In 2024, we scanned the south side of the pyramid, the floor. And this is to record the marks of the builders, their post holes and other marks that give information about how they laid out and began to build the Great Pyramid.
Some journeys start in the most ordinary of places. For Mark Lehner, everything began not in Egypt, but on the windswept plains of North Dakota. A young man growing up surrounded by white snow became obsessed with the colossal blocks of stone rising from the scorching desert. 40 years later, he is one of the world's most respected Egyptologists and the person who has dedicated most of his life to understanding how people, 45 centuries ago, created the structure that defies time, the Great Pyramid of Giza. It stands majestically upon the Egyptian sands, a stone memory that history has never been able to fully decipher for millennia. People have sought to uncover what is hidden inside, often wondering, have we already discovered everything within, or are there still undiscovered tunnels and chambers hidden deep underground? Mark Lehner wasn't the first to ask that question, but he is the one who found the answer about the pyramid builders. They were not slaves, but trained, organized, and provisioned citizens serving history's greatest engineering project. However, that wasn't the whole story. After decades of digging through layers of earth and stone, Lehner began to realize there were even more unusual mysteries, a discovery that chilled him and a truth that would awe humanity. What he saw beneath the pyramid might not only change archaeology, but force us to reconsider the very history of humankind. This is the story of Mark Lehner and the final confession of the man who spent his life searching for answers beneath the stones of Giza. If you find the story we are telling helps you understand more about ancient history and unravel unknown mysteries, please support us by liking, sharing this video, and subscribing to the channel so you don't miss other fascinating videos. The man who seeks the truth of the Great Pyramid. In the scorching afternoon on the Giza Plateau, sunlight poured down onto the 500-year-old limestone blocks of the Great Pyramid. In the distance, an elderly man with silver hair was measuring each stone, holding a blueprint worn thin by time. His name was Mark Lehner, an American archaeologist who has devoted nearly his entire life to uncovering what lies beneath and around humanity's greatest monument. Lehner isn't the type associated with sensational claims or conspiracy theories. On the contrary, he represents a new generation of archaeologists, those determined to pull Giza out from the shadow of myth and return it to the realm of facts and data. But few people know that his journey began in a completely different direction. Born in 1950 in North Dakota, Lehner grew up in a Christian family, fascinated by history and the mysteries of the ancient world. As a young college student in the 1970s, he read the writings of Edgar Cayce, a famous American figure once dubbed the Sleeping Prophet. Cayce had claimed that buried beneath Giza was the Hall of Records, an ancient library preserving the knowledge of a lost civilization, possibly Atlantis. Intrigued by that idea, Lehner decided to go to Egypt to find out. With a small grant from the Cayce Foundation, he arrived at the Giza Plateau, where the Sphinx and the pyramids rose from the desert sands. Carrying with him one simple question, if Cayce was right: where is the evidence? But the longer he stayed, the more he realized that what he saw was not the trace of some vanished mystical civilization, but rather the astonishing result of ancient Egyptian engineering and organization. There were no hidden walls concealing treasure, no underground chambers of lost wisdom, only thousands of stone blocks arranged with near-perfect precision. What Lehner witnessed at Giza changed him. He left Egypt, returned to the United States, and enrolled in Egyptology at the University of Chicago, home to the renowned Oriental Institute. There, he received formal training in archaeology, linguistics, and history. He learned how to read hieroglyphs, how to record stratigraphy, and most importantly, how to let science, not belief, lead the way. When he returned to Giza after graduation, Lehner brought with him a new goal to reconstruct the entire pyramid complex based on real archaeological evidence. In 1984, he launched the Giza Plateau Mapping Project GPMP, which later evolved into the non-profit research organization Era Ancient Egypt Research Associates. The project's goal was to create an accurate map of every stone, every road, and every structure to understand how people 4,500 years ago transformed the desert into an eternal symbol. The work spanned decades, in temperatures exceeding 40 degrees, 104 degrees. Lehner and his team measured every block, surveyed every pit, and documented every mark left by ancient hands. They used modern surveying technology to reconstruct not only the pyramids, but also the living environment of the workers who built them. South of the Great Pyramid of Khufu, they discovered a massive settlement nicknamed the Workers' Village. Inside were rows of houses, kitchens, bakeries, food storerooms, and even breweries. The evidence showed that this immense monument wasn't built by slaves, as Hollywood had long portrayed, but by well-fed, well-organized laborers under state supervision. This discovery, published widely in the 1990s, completely changed how the world viewed ancient Egyptians. They were no longer seen as nameless stonecutters, but as members of a sophisticated society with astonishing technical skill and organizational capacity. That success earned Lehner international recognition. He worked closely with Zahi Hawass, director of Egypt's Supreme Council of Antiquities, on numerous preservation projects around Giza. Together, they frequently appeared on PBS and National Geographic programs, documenting every crack on the pyramid's surface and every buried structure beneath the plateau. Yet, as the surface maps neared completion, Lehner realized that Giza still held mysteries, particularly the world beneath its limestone floor. The grooves, deep shafts, and stone channels surrounding the pyramid base might be remnants of ancient drainage systems or tunnels used during construction. Some appeared natural, but others clearly bore human chisel marks. This curiosity drew Lehner's attention toward the subterranean side of Giza, an area long overlooked. He wasn't searching for myths or treasures. He wanted to understand the pyramid's entire operating system, its foundations, drainage channels, and the ways the bedrock was cut and prepared before the first block was laid. Lehner once said in an interview with Smithsonian Magazine that what fascinated him wasn't mystery, but the fact that the ancient Egyptians knew exactly what they were doing, where, and why. That statement wasn't grandstanding, it was the essence of his life's work, explaining the extraordinary through the rationality of humankind. Now in his 70s, Mark Lehner continues to work with his Ay-era team at Giza. His project has expanded, using 3D scanning and digital modeling to study the geological layers and foundations of the pyramid. To him, Giza isn't just a place that holds the past, it's a living historical machine. Every data point, every new scan, every newly revealed stone surface is a clue to understanding humanity itself. And now, after understanding almost everything visible above ground, Lehner has begun to look deeper, because he knows that to truly understand the ancient Egyptians, one must study not only what they built for us to see, but also what they designed for us not to see. From here, the story shifts into another world, the world inside the Great Pyramid of Khufu, where stone corridors, hidden shafts, and mysterious voids tens of meters deep still await answers. The maze within the pyramid. If you've ever stepped inside the Great Pyramid, the first feeling you'll have is absolute silence. Every sound seems to vanish. Only the chill of the stone, the scent of ancient dust, and the pounding of your heart remain as you realize you're standing inside the oldest intact structure on Earth. From the outside, Khufu's pyramid appears as a massive stone mountain, but inside, it's a labyrinth. Tunnels, corridors, and chambers were built with a precision that still awes modern engineers. And astonishingly, most of it was created over 4,500 years ago, using only copper tools and human strength. Entering through the main northern entrance, one begins the descent through the descending passage, a tunnel so narrow that you must bend double, sloping downward at about 26 degrees, cutting through dozens of feet of solid limestone. It leads to the subterranean chamber, the underground room beneath the pyramid. This chamber is one of the least understood parts of the entire structure, rough, uneven, and seemingly unfinished. It may have been Pharaoh Khufu's original burial site before plans changed and construction moved upward. Others think it was merely an early experiment, a trial run for a greater project. Whatever its purpose, anyone who stands there feels that something about it remains unsaid. From that chamber, another small passage ascends the ascending passage, midway up. It's blocked by 3 massive granite plugs, each weighing several tons, fitted so tightly they seem sealed forever. Scholars believe these serve to protect the pharaoh's body from tomb robbers, but some still wonder, might those stones conceal another passage? One yet undiscovered. Beyond them lies the pyramid's most spectacular section, the Grand Gallery. It's a corridor over 26 feet high and nearly 150 feet long, with walls angling inward to form a vast stone funnel. Standing at one end, you can see faint light glinting off the polished limestone and experience both awe-inspiring and haunting. From the Grand Gallery, two routes diverge. One leads to the Queen's Chamber, though there's no evidence that any queen was ever buried there. The small, quiet room sits at the pyramid's heart, like the core of a giant stone body. The other route ascends to the King's Chamber, the highest and most famous space within. The King's Chamber was built entirely of red granite from Aswan, hundreds of miles to the south. Each block weighs many tons, yet they were placed with millimeter accuracy. Above the chamber ceiling lie 5 relieving chambers voids, stacked one atop another to distribute the weight of the pyramid. Even today, engineers regard it as a masterpiece of ancient structural design. But what truly puzzles scientists are the narrow air shaft's tiny channels, only a few inches wide, running through the walls of both the King's and Queen's chambers. 2 shafts from the King's chamber point toward the stars. The ancient Egyptians believed were the pathways of the soul. The 2 from the Queen's chamber, however, are sealed shut for centuries. These shafts attracted little attention until 1993, when German engineer Rudolf Gantenbrink sent a small robot named Upuaut 2, meaning the opener of the ways, into one of the blocked shafts. After crawling over 200 feet, the robot stopped before a small limestone slab with 2 copper pins. The world was astonished. The image of the robot halted before the door of the pharaoh made headlines everywhere. No one knew what lay beyond. Nearly 20 years later, in 2011, the Jetty project team from the University of Leeds received permission to continue. They deployed a snake-like robot with a coin-sized camera. The robot wriggled through the narrow opening and captured an image beyond the slab, another smooth surface, marked with faint red lines, perhaps alignment marks, left by ancient builders. No treasure, no mythical secret, just a small, silent space, likely for structural balance. For many, the discovery was disappointing, but for archaeologists like Mark Lehner, it was a triumph. It proved that the ancient Egyptians knew exactly what they were doing. Every detail had a purpose, even if we still don't understand it all. Lehner continued surveying the pyramid's foundation. There, he found cut grooves, channels, and rock pits, possibly parts of an ancient drainage network. Some seemed natural, others clearly man-made. It suggested the pyramid wasn't built merely to reach toward the heavens, but also deeply anchored in the earth itself. Throughout the 20th century, various teams tried to extend the passages, hoping to find unknown chambers. They drilled, probed, even used ultrasound. But every time, the results turned out to be nothing more than natural cracks in the rock. Then came the 21st century and a new approach. Instead of digging, scientists began to see through stone using muon tomography and thermal scanning, techniques that reveal internal voids without damaging the monument. And that's when they began to see what no one had seen before: hidden cavities, thermal anomalies, and signs suggesting that inside the Great Pyramid might still be spaces that have never been opened. Mark Lehner understood that if he truly wanted answers, he would need to move into a new phase, combining cutting-edge technology with more than 40 years of archaeological experience. The mystery of tunnels and anomalous voids. For thousands of years, the Great Pyramid of Giza has made humanity wonder what more lies within this colossal stone mass that we don't know. People have crawled through every tunnel, measured every stone, but the feeling that a secret is hidden deep inside has never vanished. In 2015, Egypt decided to open a new chapter in the effort to understand this ancient monument. An international science team, including experts from Cairo University, Nagoya University, Japan, and the Heritage Innovation Institute, HIP, launched the Scan Pyramids project. Their goal was clear use modern technology to see through the stone without destroying it. The technology they chose is called muon tomography, essentially cosmic ray scanning. Every second, millions of muons from space rain down on Earth as these particles pass through matter. They are slowed or deflected depending on the density of the object by placing sensors around the pyramid. Scientists can create a stone-through photograph similar to an X-ray, but on a massive scale. They also use thermal cameras and ground-penetrating radar GPR to measure temperature and detect areas with different structures. If there was an empty space, it would emit a characteristic signal. When the first results emerged in late 2016, the research team noticed a few unusual temperature areas on the east face of the pyramid near the main entrance. And then, the muon data showed something no one expected: a huge void located directly above the Grand Gallery, the main internal corridor. In November 2017, the discovery was published in the journal Nature. According to the data, the void was at least 100 feet long, as tall as a 6-story building. Scientists named it the Big Void. This discovery sent shockwaves globally, for the first time in centuries. Science proved that inside the Great Pyramid, there were still unknown spaces. Some researchers suggested it might be a relieving chamber built to reduce pressure on the corridor below, similar to the granite rooms near the King's Chamber, but others proposed that the Big Void could be an actual corridor or chamber, as its size and position did not align with known technical sections. Mark Lehner, by then one of the leading experts on Giza, expressed a cautious view in subsequent reports and interviews. He emphasized that the finding was very remarkable and demands more evidence before conclusion. Lehner is always careful, neither dismissing nor affirming. For him, every hypothesis must be proven by field survey. However, the Big Void discovery forced the entire world to rethink how they understood the pyramid. If there was such a large, unknown void, how many other things might be hiding in the dark? In the following years, the Scan Pyramids team continued to collect data. They found several smaller anomalies around the base of the monument. Near the area called the descending passage and the subterranean chamber, the rough underground room at the very bottom. Some radar signals showed possible interconnected niches or grooves, like a subterranean system of pathways. This is also the part that Mark Lehner focused on. He once wrote in Era reports that the pyramid's foundation is not completely flat, but was carved from the bedrock of the Giza Plateau. Many cuts, grooves, and deep niches around the base of the monument could be traces of ancient water systems or old engineering pathways. Now, with the new data, the question began to arise: could these trenches connect to the voids discovered by muons? Then, in March 2023, the Egyptian Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities officially announced a new result. Scan Pyramid sensors showed a hidden corridor located right behind the main entrance on the north face. This corridor is about 30 feet long, over 6.5 feet high and wide, with a triangular arched roof, the same architectural style as the Grand Gallery inside the pyramid. This discovery was confirmed by 3 independent technologies: ground-penetrating radar, muon imaging, and 3D scanning using endoscopy, a fiber optic camera probe. The images released by the team showed that this space truly exists and has never been opened since antiquity. At the press conference in Cairo, Mustafa Waziri, Secretary General of the Supreme Council of Antiquities, stated, "The corridor may have been built to redistribute weight or led to another undiscovered chamber." This was the first official confirmation of a new space inside the Great Pyramid since the 19th century. However, to date, Egypt has not permitted further excavation or deep drilling. The reason given is preservation of the monument's original structure. Drilling or opening any passage could compromise the stability of a stone mass over 400–500 years old. Mark Lehner did not speak publicly about this corridor, but in his recent Era articles, Lehner suggested that the discovery shows we still have much to learn about the ancient Egyptian construction techniques. It's a simple, yet meaningful observation. Modern technology can see through stone, but it cannot answer every question. The Big Void, the 100-foot-long empty space, remains unopened. The 30-foot corridor behind the entrance remains a mystery. No one knows where they lead, or if anything is hidden inside. And perhaps, that is precisely what makes the Great Pyramid so captivating, despite thousands of years of research. The monument still retains a piece of its own silence, a part that no one, not even the most seasoned archaeologists, can fully explain, the secrets no one dares to open. When the world learned that unopened voids still existed inside the Great Pyramid, the first question everyone asked was, why doesn't Egypt excavate them? At first glance, the question seems simple, but the reality is far more complex. For Egyptians, the Great Pyramid is not just an ancient monument. It is the symbol of the entire nation, appearing on currency, in the national emblem, In every history lesson, it represents national pride. Therefore, any action, even research, must be carefully considered. The regulations of the Egyptian Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities are very strict. All archaeological activities must be approved, supervised, and ensured that the monument does not incur any risk. With a colossal stone mass that has stood for over 45 centuries, even a small mistake, a misplaced drill hole, or excessive vibration could cause irreparable damage. Mark Lehner understands this more than anyone in his AERA research materials. He has repeatedly mentioned that the pyramid is a sophisticated architectural system where every block plays a role in the stability of the entire structure. You can't just touch one part without affecting the whole, he once said in a presentation in Cairo. But the reason is not just technical. It also lies in a deeper fear, the fear that if opened, the discovery might change everything humanity thought it knew. Egypt has often been the focal point of mystical theories, aliens, lost civilizations, secret treasures. Every time a new discovery is made, a torrent of unsubstantiated theories erupts on the internet and television. Archaeologists, therefore, must tread very carefully. They do not want unverified stories to overshadow the true value of archaeology. Mark Lehner was once caught between these two currents as a young man. He came to Egypt with funding from an organization that believed in the prophecies of Edgar Cayce, who claimed a hall of records lay beneath Giza. But after years of living in the desert, working with dirt and artifacts, Lehner moved away from myth to follow the path of science. He dedicated his life to proving that the Great Pyramid was not a work of magic, but the result of ancient human engineering, organization, and intellect. Therefore, when the Muon data showed voids inside, Lehner maintained his composure. He understood that discovery is not just about finding something new, but also a responsibility to what has existed for over 400 or 500 years. The Egyptian Ministry of Antiquities shares this perspective. During the announcement of the new corridor discovery in 2023, Mustafa Waziri, Secretary General of the Supreme Council of Antiquities, stated that all next steps would be conducted with extreme caution. He emphasized that before opening any area, they need to ensure the absolute safety of the monument. To this day, Egypt has not allowed the excavation of the Big Void or the newly confirmed 30-foot corridor. Scientists are only permitted to continue research using sensors, 3D imaging, and digital simulations. Many are disappointed, but for those who understand the pyramid, they view it as necessary respect. In numerous interviews, Lehner often says that every stone, every corridor, or void inside the pyramid carries its own meaning. They are part of a system that the ancient Egyptians calculated to the smallest detail, where engineering and belief were fused. For him, the mystery is not in hidden treasures or ancient texts. The mystery lies in how people over 4,000 years ago achieved the nearly impossible, erecting the planet's largest structure without steel, without machinery, using only their hands, ropes, and minds. The recent discoveries, the large void, the hidden corridor, only make him more astonished by their sophistication. Lehner doesn't see them as secrets being hidden, but as evidence that the ancient Egyptians achieved a level of technical skill far beyond what we imagined. The Great Pyramid, ultimately, is a testament to patience and vision. We can scan through it, record all the data, yet still cannot fully understand every purpose of the people who built it. Perhaps, one day, technology will allow us to open those spaces without harming the structure, but until that happens, the pyramid will stand there solemn, immovable, as a part of time itself. And perhaps, it is this very silence that allows it to endure to this day, not because the ancients hid some secret, but because they built something that makes people thousands of years later still want to learn, still wonder, still dream of understanding more. The information has been compiled with goodwill and respect for ancient civilizations. If any inaccuracies are found, we are willing to make corrections upon receiving credible academic feedback. We are not responsible for any misinterpretation or misuse of this content.